Hey, I'm Morgan from the very unofficial travel guides. I travel all around the world to popular and not so popular tourist destinations to give you a very honest, unofficial look at what it was like to be there, and I've been on a lot of cruise ships now. I've been on American cruise ships like Royal Caribbean and Norwegian Cruise Line. I've been on Italian cruise ships like the MSC Magnifica. And now I've been on my first German cruise ship, the AIDAluna, which is what I'm going to talk about today. And wait, if you don't speak German, but you're a fan of cruising, watch this video anyways because you might be surprised. Und wenn Sie Deutsch sprechen und Sie diese Video auf Deutsch doch sehen wollen, dann bitte schreiben Sie das in die Kommentare unten, damit ich weiß, irgendjemand will das sehen. Now on to the cruise review. AIDA is the German brand of Carnival cruises, and all their fleet has a home port in Italy, but they cater to the German-speaking market, and the onboard language is German. And for me, that's not a problem because I speak German, but I was surprised, and this is why I think you should watch this too if you're an English-speaking person, is because if you've ever been on a cruise before, you know that most of the staff, like the cabin stewards and the wait staff and the bartenders, they're all from Asian countries like the Philippines, and most of them speak their home language and English. And so I was surprised that with most of the staff on board, I've been speaking English anyway. So even if you're not a German speaker, technically you can still enjoy going on a cruise on AIDA. And if you're thinking, well, wait a second, what about all the games, like trivia and name that tune and stuff like that? Well, guess what? They don't do that on AIDA. That's a plus point and a minus point. If you're somebody who's not into all those games and game shows and trivia and stuff like that, then you might also enjoy cruising on AIDA because at least on this cruise, there was basically nothing. Even on our sea day, there was a whole big block in the afternoon on a sea day where there was nothing going on, no planned activities. So if you like to just sit back by the pool and read a book or sit in the sauna or steam room or something and don't need a lot of planned activities, then AIDA might also be for you. Here's something else I was pretty surprised about. The food on board the AIDAluna is amazing. Pretty much on every level better than Royal Caribbean and Norwegian, and like 100 times better than MSC. The concept on the bigger of the AIDA ships, and remember I'm on the AIDAluna now. Oh, sorry, I'm distracted because there's a big tanker going past right outside. Looks like this. Anyways, back to business. The food concept on the larger AIDA ships is there's no main dining room. There are 3 buffet restaurants, 3 different buffet restaurants with different themes and different food, I know because we've checked, and it's all excellent. There is a wide selection of fresh stuff and cooked stuff. I mean, it's like you can get just about anything, and especially if you're a fan of meat and fish, which if you've watched a lot of my videos, you know I'm not. But if you are gonna love the food on AIDA. And like I said, the wait staff are all English speaking, so not being able to speak German is not a problem. Oh, and one major plus point that I almost forgot. In the buffet, during lunch and dinner, it's free wine and free beer. And I mean, it's not the best wine, but hey, for a free glass of wine at dinner, and it's good beer, it's Berliner Pilsner, so that's one of the good ones. Another plus point. Yeah, as far as activities, like I said, there's not a lot of planned activities. And the activities that are planned, they were all things that I didn't really find necessarily that interesting, like darts, or ping pong, or basketball. When we've done other cruises, the things that we've had the most fun doing were like the trivia and name that tune and the game shows where you can win, like the little keychains and stuff like that. And at least on this cruise, they did nothing like that. They did have bingo, so if you're into bingo, they do that. For whatever reason, we didn't do it this time, even though we usually always do bingo. Well, that's neither here nor there. They also have a small casino on board, which I guess Germans are just not into casinos because it was small, but it was never crowded. And we actually had quite a bit of luck there at playing blackjack and playing the slots. In fact, I won a 52 euro jackpot last night. Cha-ching! So hey, I'm buying around. One other major plus point on board are the shows. I love live musical shows, and the shows here on board are top caliber. It's interesting because they do musical review shows like with the music of Queen and music that you'll know, and each of at least the bigger AIDA ships, they all have an original show that was written and produced just for the ship. So I guess if you're like a big fan of AIDA, you can sort of collect the shows. You can go from ship to ship to ship and say that you've seen all of the original AIDA shows. Now, of course, those shows are in German and it's original music, and they kind of have a loosely based plot that I think didn't necessarily work so well. The music was great, the entertainers were fabulous. It was also mixed with circus artists and people flying through the air and stuff, like really excellent. I just don't necessarily think that, like a half hour or 45-minute cruise ship show needs to have a plot. But that's a minor negative point. The AIDA customers loved it, and we watched the whole thing and were very impressed. And once again, top level artistry, amazing singers and dancers, and everything was perfect. And to bring up the German thing again, the music from Queen is English. The music of Michael Jackson is English. So it's not like you're not gonna want to watch the shows because they didn't translate the Michael Jackson songs into German. Okay, the last sort of negative point for this review would have to be the pool area. First of all, there's no water slide on board, and if you saw my Royal Caribbean versus Norwegian Cruise Line Smackdown, you'll know that I think having water slides on board is an absolute must nowadays for cruise ships. So, cruise ship designers, if you're watching this, you need to put a water slide on board, at least one. But the pool deck on these larger AIDA ships is weird because it's very multi-leveled, which is sort of different, and that's not necessarily bad. It provides a lot more space, and there's tons of space to lay out in the sun. But what I think is strange is there's no real pool. There's this round sort of area where you can get your feet wet and sit down and look down into the theatrium, that big space in the middle of the ship. And then there's two sort of largish round, I don't know if I want to call it a pool, because it's like you can't really swim in it. You can get in and walk across the bottom to the other side, but it's just basically there to get yourself wet and cool off. And of course, on this cruise to Northern Europe, there was absolutely no time that I ever was thinking about getting in the pool. But AIDA also offers cruises to Thailand and in South America and in the Caribbean and the Bahamas. And on a cruise like that, I just feel like you need to have a big pool, and they don't. So, kind of a minus point. Oh, I forgot to mention, really awesome, great big gym, really nice sauna and steam room area that's included in the price of your cruise. I guess, all in all, the only final sort of negative point for me, and probably the deal breaker as to why I wouldn't cruise with AIDA again necessarily, is just the price. I talked about this in the video I did of the other AIDA ship that I got to tour just for a couple hours one day, that I feel like for the price, you can just get a lot more ship with a lot more activities if you stay with the big American lines like Royal Caribbean or Norwegian Cruise Lines. I did a price comparison, and almost every itinerary is less expensive on those ships, including the Oasis and the Getaway and the Breakaway and the Quantum. And so even though I speak German, I just can't imagine staying loyal to AIDA unless they dropped the prices, I guess. Because like I said, the food was excellent. And if they maybe stepped up their activities, then that might be a reason that I could imagine cruising with them again. So all in all, like I said, even if you don't speak German, you might still want to consider cruising with AIDA if you're a fan of great food, great entertainment, and you don't need a lot of planned activities. And of course, if it doesn't seem weird to you to be on a ship where mostly everybody is only speaking German, except for the staff. I'm Morgan from the very unofficial travel guides. Speaking of food, it's time to go to dinner on our last night here on the AIDAluna. If you want to see more ship reviews like this, then subscribe to my channel here and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for pictures, giveaways, contests, updates, and all that kind of good stuff. I'll see you next time. Bye.